Rickie, I want to start off with one thing that the viewers, listeners would never, ever know about you, like a weird little fact.
Do you know what? I haven't spoken about this for a little while, but I've got...
Would you ever do I'm a Celeb?
So this is the thing with I'm a Celeb, and I'm an oversharer, and I shouldn't overshare because it gets me into trouble, but...
Who's your favourite live lounge?
Oh my God.
Right, so we're back with another episode, and today I have got TV and radio icon, Rickie Haywood Williams. Hello, mate.
Dan Draper, how are you, my friend?
I'm good, man. How are you?
Really good. Obviously, we're coming towards the end of the year now, so just looking forward to Christmas now and the ramp up before, we have a bit of time off.
Sick. How exciting. Rickie, so we met when I was lucky enough to do BBC Radio 1 last year.
Yep.
And I waved at you, Melvin Charlie, through the window.
Yeah.
And then we randomly bumped into each other on the train, didn't we?
Randomly. I was actually in a rush that morning and I'd running for the train and I've jumped on the first carriage because I was like, I don't want to miss the train. I felt like the doors were about to close. I'm standing there, I'm panting my heart out, thinking, oh, thank goodness I've made this train. And then you step on, right in front of me, and I was thinking, I know this face. I know this. It's
there he is. Oh, mate, well, thank you so much for coming. This is my first recording.
Is it?
In the home studio.
Bro, I've got to say, I'm fully involved in the setup. I love the ambience. I love the decor. It's a nice setup, man.
Oh, thank you, man. I was wondering whether to put a little fireplace on here since we're thawing out a little bit now. Rickie, I want to start off with one thing that the viewers, listeners would never, ever know about you, like a weird little fact.
A weird little fact. Do you know what? Being on radio for so long, I feel like you tend to you bare your soul, don't you? Like you bring whatever it is about you to the radio because that's what makes people kind of invest their time in you. So I feel like a lot of the things that people wouldn't know, I've spoken about on the radio. Do you know what? I haven't spoken about this for a little while, but I've got twin brothers.
Have you?
I'm not a twin. I've got younger twin brothers.
Right, okay.
So I'm the brother of twins.
Right.
People always say that, you're a twin. I'm like, no, I'm not a twin, but I've got twin brothers. And they're 2 years younger than me. They're identical. But one of them moved away maybe about 15 years ago now to live in Leicester.
Right.
So he lives in the other side of the country type thing. So we don't get to see him as much, but yeah, I've got twin brothers and they don't do anything that I do. They're not in the media. One's a security guard. One works in a school. They're just like normal lads, but yeah, they're great.
Oh, brilliant. I have no idea. Mate, so what I wanted to talk to you about today, so I've got a few little features for you. So this is Rickie, fact check is real.
Okay.
So what we're going to do, mate, is in my extensive research, I've also had a quick look on Wikipedia as well.
Nice.
And I want to fact check a couple of things with you.
This is interesting.
Yeah.
And the reason why I say it's interesting is because there was a period of time on our radio show when we used to do a breakfast show, myself, Melvin and Charlie, where we used to kind of play pranks on each other all the time. And we used to change each other's Wikipedia pages.
Brilliant.
So sometimes you'd go on like a show, like a TV show or like some kind of production, and they'd be like, oh, a bit like what you're doing.
Yeah,
and they'd be like, is it true that? And I'd be like, no, that's because Melvin changed my Wikipedia page 2 weeks ago. But yeah, go on.
Okay, so first one that I've got, Rickie Haywood Williams attended the Riddlesdown High School in Croydon, and at 16 you went to the Brit School, got an A-levels and a B-Tech in broadcast journalism.
That is 100% true. I am Croydon through and through. I grew up in Croydon. And I got to say, when I was growing up, coming up, it was one of the best places to live.
Yeah,
It was so fun. There were like loads of clubs. There was just an amazing amount of shops everywhere. We used to have a Virgin Megastore.
Yes, oh my God,
do you remember that?
Yeah. And then it changed to Zavvi.
That's right. Yeah. We used to have a massive HMV store. There were 2 big shopping centres. It's very different now.
Yeah.
I think after the 2008 economic downturn, it kind of struggled quite a bit and it hasn't quite recovered. I think the council has gone bankrupt twice in the last decade or so. So it's really struggled in terms of infrastructure and kind of the building of the area, unfortunately. But yes, I did go to school in Riddlesdown. I've lived all over Croydon.
Yeah.
South Croydon. I've lived in East Croydon. I've lived a bit further afield as well. I now live in like the town across in Bromley.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then I went to the Brit School. I just knew that I wanted to be in the media. I knew I wanted to be a presenter. And that was the best place to do that at the time.
Yeah.
Still is, actually.
Yeah,
my daughter's 13. She went to an open day there the other day.
Oh, sick.
Yeah. And she was saying to me, she's 13. So they start recruiting for year 10. So like when you're like, like at that age. And I said to her, well, I went when I was 16. I know a lot of people that went when they were in year 10. And I feel like it's probably better if you go in year 16.
Right.
From my personal experience, she was like, no, Dad. No, like, I don't, no, Dad. But then Kat Burns, the singer, Kat Burns came in and did a live lounge for us.
Yes.
In the live lounge a couple of weeks back, about a week ago. And I told her that my daughter, she used to go to the Brit School as well.
Yeah, yeah.
So I told her that my daughter was thinking about going. And she said, off the record, I probably shouldn't say this, but well, she won't mind me saying, I don't think, but she was saying if it was up to me, I would tell her to go in year 12, like when she's 16.
Yeah.
I said, I've been telling her that as well. So I got Kat Burns to do like a little video and I showed it to her and she lost her mind because she loves Kat Burns. And then she was like, yeah, Dad, mate, I've been thinking I might go in year 12. I was like, that's what I was saying.
Like, so it took Kat Burns to do it.
Teenagers, they don't listen to a thing the parents say.
Honestly, man. But I've also got here that you went to the University of Bedford and learnt to broadcast on Luton FM, and this is where you met Melv.
yeah, that is true. So it's called the University of Bedfordshire now. When we went, it was just called Luton University or the University of Luton. They had a bit of a rebrand. But yeah, I went there. I tried to continue what I did at the Brit School because at the Brits we had, every type of facility that you can think of. We had like TV studios, we had dance studios. I was part of the radio department or the media department, and my form class was a radio studio.
Right.
So we literally could like come in, before school, before class, lunch times, break times, and just muck about on the radio desk and just get yourself familiarized. And we used to have like an internal radio station called Brit FM.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, so I think every Tuesday and Thursday it would broadcast around the campus.
Yeah.
And I had like an R&B show, I had a garage show. Like it was really, really fun, really fun. So by the time I went across to the University of Bedfordshire and we were doing similar stuff, I felt like I had a bit of a head start on everyone because not everybody had those type of facilities before they came to Luton.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's where I met Melv. I met Melv on the first day of university, literally like my parents driving me into like the student village. And as we're driving in, Melvin was just standing outside, like just leaned up against this wall with he had these thick black rimmed glasses on, and he had like these thick sideburns. And I was like,
he had sideburns.
who does this guy think he is? Like, he had like short back and sides, like hair on the top, like shaved around the sides, sideburns, thick black glasses. And I just remember thinking, I'm going to chat to this guy. As soon as I get a chance, I'm going to chat to him. And they kind of like take you out to like a nightclub on the first night so everyone can kind of like mingle and get acquainted. And yeah, I just went up to him, just said, yeah, I'm Rickie. I'm from London. Like, where you from? He's like, I'm from Tottenham. And we just hit it off straight away.
That's so sick.
Yeah.
And you've been friends now for how many years, roughly?
Oh my God. So that was, let me think. So it's probably about 25 years.
Really?
Yeah.
Amazing.
Mad, isn't it?
That's
Mad.
mental.
Yeah.
Also, big love to Melv. Melv, bless him, came on my first podcast back in lockdown.
Yeah.
Such a lovely geezer.
Yeah, we've spoken about it
lovely
before. When I bumped into you on the train, excuse me, and I said I bumped into you, he was like, yeah, Dan, he's so cool. He's a lovely guy, hardest working guy in show business. I did his podcast a few years back. So like he spoke very highly of you.
Oh, bless him. Melv, big love. Big love. So we're going to go back into radio in a little bit.
Yeah.
But I want to talk to you about the first time that I saw you before the train on MTV News. So you were doing a lot on MTV News at the time. And obviously it was you, Laura Whitmore was doing a few bits as well. Yeah. And I'm going to rattle off a few things because I've got that you did MTV Digs as well, which to be completely honest, I thought was the UK version of Cribs. I genuinely did. You know, like when Pimp My Ride came to the UK. I thought it was that. And then you did MTV Music Junkie, where it was like a big live show.
Yeah.
And you were speaking to people like Robbie Williams and Shakira. Again, this is all according to Wikipedia.
Yeah.
And then you were doing loads of other bits. But then you kind of moved on from that as well, and other TV bits that you were doing. You did a couple of documentaries, didn't you?
Yeah, I did.
So tell us a bit about them. They're both the BBC ones.
Yeah, so I did the documentaries while I was still at MTV. So I was doing, at the time, I was on the radio with Melv at Kiss and with Charlie as well. And we were doing MTV. I got Melvin into MTV.
Ah, there it is.
Do you know what? We've been really lucky because obviously where there's been two of us from the very beginning, if one of us gets in somewhere, they you kind of like, you just invite them along, and the next thing you know, they've got like an audition, or, you know, they get brought in somehow. So we've helped each other out a lot over the years. So yeah, it's been a really fun way to do things.
And do you know what's really lovely? I did see an interview on, I can't remember the name of it, but it was about 15 years ago. It was uploaded to YouTube. And there's a very young Melvin with a mohawk.
Yes.
And it was about getting into radio and the career and this, that, and the other. And he was saying like how you got that job, and then you kind of then brought him in for like work experience and stuff as well.
Yeah, because what people don't realise is that when we went to university, obviously Melvin wasn't doing the course that I was doing. He was doing media. I think it was called media practices.
Right.
So it was a very theory-based course, and I was doing a very practical-based course. So our courses and our modules were like, you know, there was a module, like a drama module, where you had to pretend to be a tree and lay down on a mat on a Friday morning and just go to sleep for half an hour. I'm not joking. Those are some of our modules, right? And when I told Melvin, he was like, "Is that what you're doing?" I was like, "Yeah." He was like, "I've got to do like essays and all of this like theoretical stuff." I was like, "Melv, you're doing the wrong course. You should be doing like our course. We're like filming stuff and we're recording stuff."
Yeah.
So he didn't tell his mum, and he changed courses.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So he was still doing media, but he changed from the course that him and his mum had approved and whatnot. So he moved. He never told her. Like,
right.
It wasn't until he graduated that she found out that he changed courses.
I bet she went fucking mad, didn't she?
He always says she stopped moaning the first time he was able to buy her a new kitchen.
Fair. Yeah. All right. Yeah.
That would do it. But yeah. So I forgot what I was saying. But yeah, I was doing the documentaries while I was at MTV. It just got to a point where we were doing TV. I think at that point we'd done Big Brother's Big Mouth together, myself and Melvin. So we started to do like a bit of like TV, and an offer came in from BBC Three, which was a much bigger entity at the time.
Yes, yeah.
And they were basically saying, "Look, we think you'd be really good. Kind of, you know, you do news, but it's not news. But we know that you can kind of like present because you do the radio as well. We'd love to get you in to do some documentaries." So I was like, "Okay, cool. Well, what are they about?" And the first one was about status dogs at the time.
Yes.
Yeah, because there was a period of time when there was a lot of stuff in the news where there were some vicious dog attacks, and young people at the time were like seen to be using dogs as, you know, status symbols, or you get dogs with like big, like, you know, like metal collars and things like that. And so there was a lot of stuff about it in the news. So we did like a documentary about it, and it was called My Weapon is a Dog. And I think they had a lot of backwards and forwards with the title to get the title right for legal reasons, but we got it done. But it was actually really fun. It was a really fun experience. It took, for an hour's show, I think it was an hour's documentary, we probably filmed for about 4 or 5 months straight. It was a lot of filming, a lot of stuff on location, meeting lots of different case studies, meeting lots of different people. We met someone who unfortunately was attacked by a dog and disfigured. We met someone that had, you know, a dog that was banned in the UK, and it was really interesting. And I had no idea what it was going to be like when it went out, but it went out. It got a really great response, and then they asked me to do another one. So I was like, "Yeah, cool. This is. I reckon I could do this." And the second one was called Cannabis: Britain's Secret Farms. I think it was called.
It was. According to Wikipedia, yeah.
That was me on there. Just
literally, I'll update that. Yeah, Melvin called it something different.
Yeah, exactly. And the reason that one got me sold was when they told me about it, they were like, "You're going to get to go up in a helicopter," and with, I think it was South Bristol Police, and they had this heat-seeking technology where they'd fly above certain areas of Bristol. And at the time, a lot of cannabis farms were being set up in people's lofts, and you can, from above, you can see the heat signature from the helicopter.
UV lights.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I just heard helicopter, and I was like, "I'll do it." And again, it was really fun. It was a really interesting thing to do. But there was a lot of backlash around that.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people that I knew and that I loved and that I grew up with smoked cannabis.
Right. Yeah.
So a lot of people were like, why are you blowing us up, man? Like,
why are you out of me?
Why are you messing with our supply? And I was like, yeah, I didn't actually think about that. But I was like, well, no, I'm just trying to, just make a living. But after that one, because I got such a backlash that I'd never experienced before, I was like, maybe this documentary thing isn't quite for me. Because a lot of people thought that it was my views and it was like the way that I felt about this issue. And I was like, really and truly, the way that it is, I'm just the voice on a stick.
Yeah.
I'm being told what to say. Obviously, when I go to these locations and whatnot, you're interacting and you're interacting as you see fit. But in terms of like the voiceover, in terms of the content, in terms of the narrative, that's nothing to do with me.
Yeah.
So I was kind of a little bit disenchanted with the documentary scenario. I then tried to kind of like, try and do some stuff or develop some stuff that was more personal to me personally. But yeah, we didn't really get there at the end.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you went on to do Sweat the Small Stuff, which was incredible. But the one that I wanted to talk to you about, Soccer Aid.
Oh, God.
That is something that I would love to do. What was that experience? And where were you playing? Was it Wembley or were you at Old Trafford?
It was Old Trafford.
Was it?
Yeah. So the Soccer Aid thing, so basically at the time, I think that was 2016. So what had happened was myself and Melvin had landed a TV show on ITV. It was like a Saturday night TV show, like shiny floor game show, and a massive deal. It had been in development for like, I think maybe 3 years?
Yeah.
And it was called Bang on the Money.
Yeah, it was, because I'm going to ask you about that in a sec.
Yeah, so the reason why I was able to be eligible for Soccer Aid was because I was going to be ITV talent.
Right,
So
gotcha.
that's how I was able to do it. Now, my agent at the time, who's still my agent now, was like, there's an opportunity arisen, we can get you on Soccer Aid. The only thing is, it's really last minute. The England side has been fully filled, but I can get you in on a technicality on the rest of the world team. Would you want to do it? And I was like, yeah, but I'd really want to play for the England side because I know everyone. But I did it anyway, and it was one of the best things I've ever done. Like, it was absolutely incredible. I think we were training at Harlequins training ground, I think.
Just opposite Twickenham. Yeah,
That's right. Yeah, exactly. So we were training there every single day. And then I think by the end of the week, we were taken up to Manchester by coach, with the rest of the world team go up in one coach, the England team go up in another coach. You get put up in the Lowry Hotel in Manchester. It was really nice, really nice.
Yeah.
You get taken for a suit fit-in, like they give you like a full outfit, and it's incredible. You're treated like an international footballer for a week. It's absolutely incredible.
Did you walk off the bus with the headphones just straight direct, just straight down? Like
I should have done, taking my wash bag and I should have, but no, I didn't have that foresight. But one of the best things I've ever done. It really was. I was able to hang out with Ronaldinho, Berbatov, Jaap Stam, Edgar Davids, all of these superstars. And then you've got, the celebrities as well. So like guys from, I think, from Westlife and, actors. And it was incredible. It was absolutely incredible.
What was it like being on pitch with some of the icons like Ronaldinho, Edgar Davids? Because they're the people that I grew up watching, especially people like Edgar Davids when I was about sort of 6, 7-ish, when it's coming into like Euros, World Cup season. He was an icon for me. And then you see just how amazing Ronaldinho was. What was it like going up against that? And especially Jaap Stam, the brick wall that is.
Do you know what? Jaap Stam, the nicest guy.
Yeah?
So, oh my God. Like, he was the person that I would say that I bonded the most with. Because I think I was playing right back when I eventually got on the pitch. And obviously he's a centre back. So he would just in training, he was like, right, Rickie, go there, stay there, come back with me. He just helped me through everything. He was incredible, and I'd go to lunch with him, and he'd tell me stories about Roy Keane and his time at Manchester United. He had some wild stories.
Really?
We'll save that for another time.
I was going to say, that's part 2.
We'll save that for another time. But it was the year that Leicester won the league. So Claudio Ranieri, who was Leicester's manager, was our manager.
Yes.
He was drafted in, so that was fun as well. And then getting to, as a Liverpool fan, it was nice to to play at Old Trafford and try and score some goals, but you know,
Forgot you were a Liverpool
I'm a
fan.
Liverpool fan. Yeah, it would have been better to be at Anfield, but it was still nice to go to Old Trafford.
That's sort in the wood. I'm a Man U boy.
Are you?
Yeah.
Bro. But you know what? What was amazing was just like being in the dressing room, and then, you know, like as you see the players coming out of the dressing rooms, they go down that long tunnel, and then you've got like the overhead kind of like there's like a structure that they walk through.
All right, yeah.
Doing all of that, like, and then walking out onto the pitch is so iconic. It was cool, man.
But I can imagine the crowd as well, like really like going for it as well.
Yeah. It was like, first of all, the pitch felt like you were playing on carpet. It was so soft, like, and then you're just like, when you're on the pitch, it's huge.
Yeah.
Like, I remember doing a sprint after like a pass that someone had made, and I'm right back, bearing in mind.
Yeah.
And I must have sprinted past the halfway line and done a pass or whatever, and then I've turned back to look back down the, and it felt like it was about a mile away to get back into position.
It's called an Uber. Yes, please.
Taxi.
Because
Incredible.
I heard a rumour previously that apparently Sunday League pitches are meant to be the same size across the board with professional pitches.
No.
And I've been to Wembley, and I'm like, if you tried getting me on that, not that I do Sunday League and the knees gone, that professional, I could have been a professional kind of thing. But mate, honestly, that sounds amazing. But one thing that I did want to, you alluded to it, is Bang on the Money.
Yeah.
So Bang on the Money, big, glossy, Saturday night ITV show. Yes. I watched it back in the day, but also sort of watched it when we were saying that we were going to do this.
Yeah.
And I'm going to test your brain.
Oh, God. Go on.
So can you tell me what all the boxes are called?
Oh, my God. Okay. So we had Grass. Did they have an actual name? Well, one of them was called Shaniqua. I know that.
Yeah. Shaniqua was...
Was it a fish?
Yeah.
But the boxes were objects, right? I think we had clouds. We had a zebra. We had... I feel like we had grass. I don't know why I feel like we had grass.
You're so close. We were kind of just talking about it.
Football pitch.
Yes. There we go.
Yes. I just remember it being green. I can't remember the rest. I can't remember.
Do you want me to put you out your misery?
Go on, tell me.
So you've got tartan, the beans, the lemons, the clouds.
Lemons.
I'm going to do it the way you said it. The zebra, the lips, the football pitch, the high heels, and Shaniqua the goldfish.
Wow.
Madness. What was it like to be on one of those big Saturday night things?
It was incredible. It really was incredible, because obviously when we were, like myself and Melvin was starting out, that was the end goal, to end up on Saturday Night TV somehow.
Yeah.
So it was a long process. So I remember going to a woman called Susie Lamb, who's now one of the big bosses at BBC Studios. She's like, she does Strictly Come Dancing, she does all the big stuff. And at the time she was at Talkback Thames, I think it was, an indie that did stuff for ITV, and I think they made Take Me Out, they made Family Fortunes, they made like your classic game shows. Yeah. And we went there with our agent, and we were like, look, we really want to be on TV, we want to show together, and we want to show like Ant and Dec's old show on BBC One called Friends Like These. I don't know if you remember that show.
No, I don't remember that one.
It was a show that used to be on like maybe early 2000s, and it was basically two sets of friends, two groups of friends, going against each other to basically just win a holiday for their mates.
Right.
That's basically it. And you had to do a series of games. And when we said that to her, she was like, oh my God, she was like, we've had an idea come in for a similar type of game that reminded me of that Ant and Dec show back in the day.
Right.
And she was like, you two would be great for it. So we developed this show for maybe, I'd say the best part of 3 years. It was a long time. So like we kind of like piggybacked onto the back of the development and started to develop the games and kind of like, develop the formats, and they kept adding things, and we added the Rickie versus Melvin part of it. The VTs where we used to have to go against each other.
Yeah, because I saw that you were doing some sort of Macarena dance on one of the episodes, trying to get people out.
We did a lot of stuff. We had a hugging challenge where we had to go to Carnaby Street and see how many people we could hug in a minute that would like accept a hug from you. We had like a sumo wrestling challenge that we had to do. We had to do a 100-meter sprint dressed as giant chickens. We did some mad stuff.
Yeah.
Like, mad stuff. It was fun though, really fun.
But that's like you were saying, that's always been a goal for me, like watching those types of Saturday night things and that. But one of the other things that I wanted to talk to you about was the Mobos, because you hosted the Mobos as well, didn't you?
Yeah, that was actually the same year. So 2016 was a good year. We had Bang on the Money, we did the Mobos, and I did Soccer Aid. Wow. It was like a really big year. But the Mobos was one of those things where we also did the Brits as well. So we did the ITV2 show, the ITV2 content for the Brits.
Okay, yeah,
so the secondary content. So really busy year. And the plan was to eventually host the Brits. That was the plan. That was the trajectory that we were kind of on. But the Mobos, so the Mobos obviously being like a lover of black music and that kind of culture and that scene, we'd always grown up watching it. So to get to host it, you know, with the likes of Trevor Nelson's hosted and all of these amazing people over the years was a massive thing for us. And it was up in Glasgow, I want to say. It was in Glasgow.
Okay.
And we wore kilts.
No,
like, yeah. I remember they were like, would you wear kilts? And we were like, could we wear them, but do we have to wear them for the whole show? They were like, no, you could just maybe wear them for the opening link. So we'd organised it so that we came out in our kilts for the opening kind of like intro. And then we had like a minute and 30 seconds to go backstage and get changed into like our suits and stuff.
Right.
And get back out onto stage. But it was really fun. They made us show up in a limousine. It was really fun. The mad thing about the Mobos was, and if anybody watched it, this will probably be the thing that they remember, we had that situation that you never want at an award show where you're given the wrong envelope to announce. So I can't remember what category it was. I just remember it was with Krypton Conan, and I think it was a group called Western. Right. And Western were announced as the winners when it should have been Krypton Conan. So we've announced it. No, we didn't announce it. Somebody else announced it, and they told us to go on stage and then tell everyone that it was the wrong thing.
Right.
And Melvin was like, can you do it? So I was like, yeah, I'll do it. So a lot of the press coverage was just like, Rickie and Melvin get the award wrong. And we were like, it wasn't even us. Yeah. We were just telling people
we're
that
the fixers.
But that aside, it was a great experience, like really good experience.
Love it. And also you did Strictly.
Yes.
Now, again, in my research, you didn't take part in all of Strictly.
No.
You just did the Christmas one where you were dressed up as like a toy soldier and did the samba or the rumba or something like that, was it?
What did I think it might have been, I think it was salsa.
Salsa.
I think it was salsa. It was a while ago now. So yeah, basically, obviously Melvin had done Strictly. He'd done the main show, the one where it's like week after week after week. And I then got offered to do the Christmas one. And I was like, I'm not really a dancer. Like, and everyone was like, it's a one-off show. Like, you might as well. And if you're good on it, maybe you could do the main show. And I was like, okay, let's see. So I signed myself up. I promise you, after the first rehearsal with my dance partner, Luba Mushtaq, I wanted to burst into tears. Like,
really?
I jumped on the phone to my agent. Literally, I never forget. The studio was in Fulham, on Fulham Broadway. And I remember coming out of the studio, jumping into my cab and getting on the phone to my agent and just going, please take me off of this show. Like, please. She was like, what's wrong? I was like, I was horrendous. It just felt so alien. Just the counts, like the movements, like trying to learn, like, because the salsa is all about half step. Everything's on a half step. So it's not like 1, 2.
Yeah.
But everything's like a half step, like a 1.5 or a 2.5. Nothing's quite, if you don't know salsa, it's quite alien.
Yeah.
But we got there. That's all part of the journey, isn't it? So like, I've got footage of like my first ever rehearsal that I'll put out at some point. It was terrible. But,
really?
But hilarious. Hilarious. And then I've got footage of like my subsequent like last like few rehearsals, and you get really good. And you lose loads of weight as well, which is incredible. You get really fit. So yeah, it was a great experience. Really good.
Well, speaking of great experiences, I mean, obviously we know that Melv's done it. Would you ever do I'm a Celeb?
Okay, so this is the thing with I'm a Celeb, and I'm an oversharer. And I shouldn't overshare because it gets me into trouble. But I'm terrified of snakes.
Really?
I'm absolutely, I get frozen with fear. And it's a learned fear that was put on to be by my mum. So my mum's terrified of snakes. And I used to take the mick out of her when I was a kid.
Yeah.
And like, you know, open the encyclopedia and go, la, la, and scare her with snakes. She's terrified. But now I've grown to be terrified of snakes as well. So if I was to do it, I'd have to have like some kind of hypnotherapy to be able to go in there. But also, I've got, I always say this when anyone asks me, I've got really bad sleep apnea. Like I snore really badly, right? So not only would I not get any stars when I went on like tasks, I'd keep everybody up all night like as well with my snoring.
Yeah.
I'd be the most hated person in the country. And they'd keep like nominating me for the tasks as well. I'd be terrible.
Oh, mate.
But that being said, if you get offered it, you're going to do it.
Yeah,
I don't think you can turn that down.
Yeah, that is a life dream for me. I would love to.
And Melv was incredible. When
he was my king of the jungle. To be honest, I voted for him every time. Well,
he was
not for the
incredible.
trials, Melv. Sorry, mate. But yeah, maybe one or two.
No, he was incredible, man. I was so happy for him. And if I'm honest, like the stuff that he's done off the back of it, sometimes you don't quite realize how beneficial it is to do it. Even if you don't win, the stuff that comes off the back of it, the opportunities that come off the back of it are just amazing.
Yeah.
So I've been riding his coattails for the last couple of years. Like, been smashing it.
Well, speaking about where it all started then, that's the end of the Wiki section. Thank you. Let's go back to radio. When you guys got your first break, obviously you did Kiss Breakfast.
Yep.
You guys joined in 2007 and then Charlie came in in 2009.
Yep.
So tell us about like when you first made the jump from Luton Radio to Kiss FM and doing like, you know, winning all these awards.
Yeah. So I know why you say 2007. So 2007 was when we started the breakfast show, which was incredible. But we actually joined in 2006. But we were, the reason why you don't realize that is because we were hidden in the schedule. So we were broadcast assistants at One Extra at the time. And again, we had the call and our agent was like, look, there's an opportunity to work at Kiss. This is what you guys have wanted. You wanted to be on the radio. You wanted to be in front of the mic. The only thing is, it's for 2 days a week. However, those 2 days a week will give you the same amount of money that you do for 5 days a week in your job at the moment. So we were like, cool. So we're not going to lose out on any money. And we gained like 3 days. Sign us up. So we were doing the weekend breakfast show for about, I'd say it was about 10 months we were doing it for. So we were doing like having to go to bed at like, you know, like 10 o'clock on a Friday night and on a Saturday night. And at the time, you know, I was in my 20s and I was like out all the time. So it was really hard to kind of revert from being like a weekend person and partying and all that stuff to kind of like self-discipline and go to bed on the weekends. But we did it. And we did that for about a year. And it was great because I think our boss, Andy Roberts, at the time, he really believed in us. He gave us a lot of like leeway. And he put our show was 6 till 10 in the morning. And we used to mess up all the time. I'm sure we took the station off air a couple of times. And, you know, like we used to mess up all the time. And he was like, don't worry, that's why I put you on so early and at the weekends. Like if it messes up, it's not that big a deal. If it was like a Monday or a Friday, it'd be terrible. So we did that for a year. And the DJ that was on the main show at the time, who was with Charlie, Charlie was on the main breakfast show, for some reason was let go. I don't know the reasons behind it. His name was Robin Banks. He was lovely to us. He used to get us, like, he used to come over to our house and like teach us about certain tricks of the trade and teach us about how far you can push the boundaries and things like that. He was really lovely to us. But ultimately we took his job, ultimately. And we've met him some like years down the line. He's still a great guy. But yeah, after about 10 months of being on the weekend breakfast show, there were rumors that we were going to get elevated to the main breakfast show. And I remember thinking, yeah, that's never going to happen. We'd have to be there for like 2-3 years or so.
Yeah.
But I think in hindsight, our boss always knew that he wanted to put us on the breakfast show. He just didn't tell us.
Right.
And the way that he kind of described it to us or sold it to us, he said, right, I'm going to put you on the breakfast show for the summer. It was like June or whatever. And he said, if it doesn't work out, you know, we'll just go back to your old show. And if it does, we'll see what happens. We added 100,000 listeners in the space of about 2 months. And yeah, so everyone was just like, oh my God, what has happened? And then it just spiraled from there.
Well, I was going to say, I've got here that it says that you had huge success with the records and countless awards, including the Sony Gold Breakfast Show Award at the Radio Awards.
Yeah, man, that was the one. So when we first moved to the Breakfast Show, our producer that we inherited, his name was Adam Kay. Incredible producer, incredible person, incredible human being. He just said, right, now that you're on the Breakfast Show, you're on the biggest show on the station. What do you want to achieve? Like, what do you want to do? What do you want out of this? And I said, at the time, we were sitting in this room that had all these awards from a guy called Bam Bam.
Oh, right, yeah.
Who used to be like just like a god at Kiss, Kiss Breakfast. He used to do a show with Bam Bam, a guy called Street Boys, Bam Bam and Street Boy Show. And they had all these awards and they had all these like accolades, and it was like, 800,000 listeners and this amount of listeners. And I was just sitting in this room and Adam was like, what do you want to achieve? And I said, I want to do better than what they did.
Yeah.
I want to get more listeners and I want to get more awards. And I don't know if we got more awards because I don't think we were there for as long, but we definitely got more listeners than the Bam Bam Breakfast Show did. Which I think ultimately it was because Kiss expanded and took over stations in the east of the country and the west of the country. So the station became bigger. So if it was still just Kiss 100 London, it probably would have been quite comparable to what Bam Bam did. But because the station grew, we then got more listeners. So yeah, that was great. Right.
And what would you say is one of your favourite memories from being at Kiss?
Favorite memory? There are so many, like so many. Just Kiss were really good at doing stuff with their sponsors. So I remember at the time, Blackberries were massive.
Yeah.
And we were just entrenched in the Blackberry culture.
I never had one.
Right. Okay. So, but there was a time when Blackberries were just huge. Yeah. And we ended up doing a partnership with BlackBerry. Because myself, Melvin, was so involved in the culture, they were just like, this is the perfect partnership because you guys can talk about it on air and you're living it and da-da-da-da. And then they used to just like take us on like jollies like around the world. I think they took us to snow bombing in Austria. They took us to Las Vegas. They took us to Ibiza. And just, you can just imagine, like, imagine going to Ibiza with your work and just like being paid to go out and party and do radio shows from these incredible locations. It was just literally the best time ever. The best time.
Sick. Well, then obviously you then transferred over to Radio 1.
Yes.
And you started off in the evenings.
Yep.
Then you've then moved on to the earlier morning shows that's gone on there. So, but now you're also doing Live Lounge. So what was your kind of thought process, or how did you feel moving from Kiss, which is a very commercial station, to Radio 1 as like a very national station?
Good question. I didn't, if I'm honest, that in the beginning, when we were at Kiss and we were doing well, there was always like a very loose conversation with the BBC, like, oh, how are you guys feeling over there? Type of, nothing too formal, but there was always like a little dialogue. So there was always kind of like that rhetoric, kind of like going under the surface, as it were. And I remember thinking, it's probably not for us. Like, I just remember thinking, we're on the biggest show on this station, and we're not going to be on the biggest show on that station if we go across. So let's do this. And it's all about timing, isn't it? And then we'd done Kiss for like a really long period of time, and then something happened where there was an opportunity because there was some DJ movement, and then the conversation kind of like came up again, and then it was like, do you know what? It feels right this time. It feels like it's the right time to kind of like potentially go across. Yeah, we'd done so much good stuff at Kiss for like a long period of time. And it felt like, I just remember thinking, leave. The best time to leave is when people still want you to be there. Yeah. So like,
end on a high kind of thing.
Absolutely. Like if people are going, oh my God, you guys are leaving. Like that's the best time to leave. Bit like, obviously on a completely different level, but look at Strictly Come Dancing.
Yeah.
Like they're leaving on a high. People don't want them to go. Yeah. Their legacy is like set in stone forever now.
Incredible.
Like, that's amazing. That's how you want to do it. So I was like, it feels like a good time to leave. So yeah, we made the move across, and we moved to the evening show, which I think was 9 till 11 at the time.
Yeah.
And then it changed to 8 till 10, I think. But just felt like great because we'd spent best part of 12 years, over 12 years, doing a breakfast show, and now we could sleep all day. And didn't have to get to work until like 7 o'clock in the evening. So we went from one extreme to the other. And it was all about the music this time around. When we moved to the BBC, it was so music heavy. And so just about your passion for the music. It's obviously an evening show, so it's like a specialist show in essence. And that was really nice to be able to kind of, you know, get that out of your system, because we spent a long time at KISS not really being able to express ourselves that much because it's a commercial format.
Yeah.
With regards to the music that you actually love.
Right.
So when we first moved to Radio 1, that was us being able to scratch that itch and really be able to lean into that.
Yeah.
And before we'd moved across and we had like, you know, initial talks with the BBC, they were like, what show would you guys, you know, potentially like to do? And the Live Lounge was one that kind of came up. And after being on the evening show a little while, our boss, Alid, was kind of trying us out on daytime, covering for Scott Mills, covering for Clara Amfo every now and again. And he was just testing the water, seeing how we'd do. And he really liked what he heard. And he was like, I'm definitely going to get you to move to daytime at some point. Yeah. It's just a case of, you know, when a DJ decides to leave or moves, and then the jigsaw kind of happens, and then we can slot you in somewhere. And then, it happened. I think Grimmy and Annie Mac left in quite close succession. Yeah. And that created the jigsaw effect, and pieces had to get moved around. And then we got moved into the Live Lounge. And the rest, as they say, is history. It's been one of the best things ever.
The Live Lounge is fucking sick. I've loved it for years, but I wanted to ask you, and I'm not saying who's the best, but who's your favourite Live Lounge that you've had? And you can name more than one if you want.
Oh my God. There have been so many. And do you know what? There's a lot of artists that surprise you, that you're not quite, sometimes you don't know too much about them. You don't know too much about their live performance, and they come on and you're like, oh my God, that's just blown me away. But off the top of my head, Usher's my number one, just because I'm a massive fan of Usher and he's just that guy. And he brought that, he's like a seasoned pro as well. A lot of artists that come through the Live Lounge are in the earlier stages of their career. He's in the, you know, like he's well seasoned for like 25, 30 years or whatever. Yeah. And he just brought this energy that was just unmatched. Yeah. The only person that's brought that same sort of energy for me, Robbie Williams.
Really?
Yeah. So I can't explain it. It's kind of, it's almost like you've got Hollywood royalty in the Live Lounge. And every aspect, every single section of the Live Lounge, every single part that makes up the Live Lounge show when someone's performing, they get an A star in every single category. Whether it's the intro and you're just having a little chat, they ace that and they give you so much. And then like in between the songs, they ace that. Like you're not expecting too much. You're just expecting like, you know, what we usually do. But when they give you extra and in abundance, it just blows your mind. And Robbie and Usher both did that. But we've had so many great ones. Like the list goes on. Olivia Dean more recently.
Yeah, I saw her performances. She is outstanding.
She was amazing. And that was her second performance with us. The last time around, she did, I think she covered Beyonce, Cuff It. She's just incredible. Ray was amazing. Yeah. There's been so many. The list is endless.
Yes, I love that. In terms of, you know, when you're on Radio 1, you get fully involved in all the challenges and the games and everything that comes out as well. Yeah. Recently, it was the Traitors, but I know that before there was the other one where you were in Northern Ireland with Nat O'Leary, was it?
That's right. I think that was what was it called? The Giant DJ Challenge or something like that. All the names are quite similar, so they get jumbled up. But it was basically Greg James against Jamie Lang. Yeah. So it was Team Greg versus Team Jamie, and I think I was on Team Jamie. I think I think I was. And there was like a selection of challenges and whatnot. And that was crazy because obviously I can't remember the place that we went to, but it was basically like a big cliff edge. Yeah. And a bridge between like these two bits of like rock in the middle of on the coast or whatever of Ireland. Like, it's incredible.
And I saw on yours and Nat's social media, she was shitting herself, but you looked a bit shaky-legged as well.
Do you know what? So there's an element of you kind of have to, obviously they want it to be real. It is real. But there is an element of you kind of have to make it sound extra good for radio. There is an element of that. And I love anything that's a bit daring. I love a skydive. I love a bungee jump. I love snowboarding. I love that sort of stuff. Yeah. So that was quite exciting for me. But you had to make it sound sound dramatic. So you kind of have to ham it up a little bit.
So in terms of like when you're on air, whether it was KISS or Radio 1, what would firstly, do you still get nervous? But the second part of the question, what would you say would be the most sort of embarrassing moment that you've had on radio?
God, there's been a few. There's been a few. Where do I start? So, do you know what? So nerves, yes, but the way that I look at nerves is it depends on how you want to frame it. So I saw something quite recently actually that when you look at like the human brain and like neuroplasticity and all that sort of stuff, the signals that the brain sends out when you're nervous are exactly the same signals as they send out as when you're excited.
Oh,
it's identical. So it's just on how you frame it, really. So
right.
I tend to look at it like, if I'm nervous, it's probably because I'm excited to do something. It's more of how you look at it and how that will impact you. So I like to look at it like, excuse me, it's just excitement.
Yeah.
But most embarrassing thing, oh God, do you know what I hate? I hate it when you get anything official wrong. I hate getting people's names wrong.
Yeah.
I absolutely hate it. And I think we had Biffy Clyro in recently. I think it was just before Live Lounge Month or just at the start of Live Lounge Month. And we were talking to them. And you never know before it happens who's going to come into the studio. So if it's a band, you don't know what
member's going to come in.
What kind of like concoction of the band are going to come through. So like you're kind of like waiting on your producers to get that confirmed, and then like obviously you get the names come through or whatever. And for whatever the reason, I've taken one of their names and split one of their names into two. And I think it was like, say one of their names was Simon Neil. I can't remember. But I've ended up calling one of them Neil when his name was Simon.
Right. It's like when you're on a register, it's like Neil Simon. Like.
Yeah. And I was bigging him up. I was like, go on, Neil. And everyone was looking at me funny. I was thinking, what? Anyway, let's go to the song. And then I've realized what I've done, and I'm like, oh my God. And they were the loveliest guys. They were the most like loveliest band ever.
Yeah.
I just felt so bad. Like, obviously off there, say sorry and whatnot. Yeah, it's just horrible. But it's live.
It happens.
Yeah, it
happens. Now, Rickie, you follow on from Greg in the mornings, and Greg obviously has an amazing game called Unpopular Opinion.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to do the theme tune for copyright reasons. Sorry, Greg. But do you have an unpopular opinion that you want to share?
I do, and it's quite well known if you listen to our show, but I don't rate sausages.
What?
See? I don't rate sausages. I don't like them. I think that the majority of sausages have just got a lot of bump in them that don't need to be there. Sometimes you bite into a sausage and there's a lot of stuff that I can't account for in there.
There's a lot of gristle.
Yeah, a lot of gristle, a lot of like things that are different colors and different. I'm just like, what is that? So I'm not a sausage person. I'm not. And whenever I mention it or whenever it gets mentioned, people have that exact same reaction that you have. People just can't get their head around it.
That's literally. Right, Rick, before we move on from the radio, I'm going to give you this. I'm going to play a little game with you. And this is the alliteration round. So this is Rickie's reactions this time.
Okay, cool.
So these are current and previous Radio 1 presenters. I want you to identify them for me from the kid pictures that we've got.
Oh, wow. Okay. So, wow. Oh my God, these are brilliant. Okay. So I think, number 4, Clara Amfo.
Yeah. I
used to work with Clara at KISS before as well. So we've known each other for a very long time. So like I can see Clara straight away. Number 3, that has to be Molly King. That blonde hair, that has to be Molly King. Now it gets tricky after this. Who's number 1? Is number 1 Grimmy?
No. Zoe Ball.
Zoe Ball. Oh my God. That's incredible. That's an amazing haircut. That is amazing, Zoe. Okay. Number 2. Oh my God, who's that? Is that Greg?
No.
Who's that?
Think does a few days a week. Pops in and out. Does as a wife that's pregnant and about to drop very soon.
Oh God.
May live in Chelsea.
Jamie Lang.
That's Jamie Lang, yeah.
Oh my God. Yeah, I can see it now. I can see it. Okay, that's Jamie Lang. 6 looks really familiar, but I don't know why I can't put my finger on it. Who's 6?
She's always in a happy place.
God. Who is that? I don't know. Tell me. Who is it?
Fern Cotton.
Oh, of course. Of course. Do you know what, as well? Because Fern's been famous for so long, I should know that. Because I'm pretty sure like it's probably about a year after that picture was taken, she was probably on the TV.
Yeah.
And who is number 5? Number 5 is the hardest out of all of them, I think.
I'll give you a clue. She's recently done something with Greg around his book launch.
Who is number 5? Are they currently on Radio 1?
No. They used to do a show with...
Alice Levine.
Yes!
Come on.
Smashed it.
Come on. I used to work with Alice at MTV as well.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Right, moving on from radio, mate, because the other thing that I love about you as well is the fact that you're so passionate about your music and you bring that into your DJ sets, you know, whether it's the house parties with Melv or supporting Will Smith.
Yeah, oh, gosh.
Right?
Wow.
So I wanted to ask you, firstly, actually, we'll get into that in a sec because I feel like this needs to be addressed. Your love for Will Smith goes way before you supporting him on tour because I remember for Comic Relief, you and Melvin went on and did a Will Smith medley, rapping and dancing. I looked at it and I was like, that's fucking outrageous. I love it.
Yeah, so that was for Comic Relief a few years back, and it was for a show called Let's Sing and Dance. So I think what used to happen, I think there were 2 shows and they just merged them. So there was a Comic Relief show called Let's Sing for Comic Relief, and there was one called Let's Dance for Comic Relief.
Right.
This was Let's Sing and Dance for Comic Relief. So we did the hardest version, the hardest iteration of it. So yeah, you go in initially, you have a consultation where they're like, who do you like? Who you inspired by? Who do you listen to? Who you love forever? But it has to be stuff that the mainstream audience is going to know. And there was no other person other than Will Smith. We were like, we both love Will Smith. You know, we've loved him since, you know, like we were like 10, 11, 12 type thing. And, you know, he's got loads of hits. So they were like, cool, perfect. We're going to put a medley together. So they put a medley together of, I think it was the theme tune of The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. It was Men in Black. And it was Boom Shake the Room.
It was.
Yeah, so that's 3 outfit changes. three outfit changes in one performance, which was challenging to say the least, because obviously the way that we did it, we just had like all of the outfits on at the same time. And then as like you get to certain parts of the song and there's a transition, then you just get like the dancers will pull off like one layer.
Yeah, because I remember you guys walking up the stairs and you were in the Men in Black suit. And then you literally just went...
But that was really fun. I think that was probably, again, I guess that would be kind of like what Strictly Come Dancing would be like if you're on the main show, because the amount of rehearsals that we did for that were a lot. And obviously we were doing vocals as well.
Yeah, you were rapping it.
So it wasn't just dancing, it was a lot, but it was really fun. And what I will say is the dancers don't get enough credit for me, like actual professional dancers. They are superheroes. So some of the stuff they can do was incredible. But on that same show, Matt Edmondson was on the same show, and he did Super Bass by Nicki Minaj.
Did he?
Yeah, in the full get up, the full cat suit, like the pleather cat suit, the blonde wig. Amazing.
I can't wait to Google that later.
Definitely Google. But he's a good rapper, you know.
Is he really?
He can spit bars. He's got like a quick, like he can spit. He's
Matt
good.
Edmondson.
Matt Edmondson. Yeah. It's a known thing. So every now and again, he'll do something at Big Weekend where he does like a rap song on stage and he'll just like spit an Eminem verse or whatever, or make up his own thing. He's very talented.
That's madness.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. But he knew the Super Bass song and the raps from beginning to end. He was incredible.
So did you know all of Will's stuff when you were doing it then? Did you have to relearn the lyrics?
You had to relearn. So it's amazing how many times you can hear something and then you think you know it, but until you actually have to recite it word for word, you're like, oh, that's what it says, rather than what I've been saying.
The misheard lyrics are unreal.
It's a real thing, man. It's a real thing. So yeah, obviously we had a good grounding. We knew most of the lyrics, so that really helped. But in terms of kind of like performing them and saying them in time and getting your breaths right because of all your steps and stuff, it was tricky. It was really hard. Really hard.
So in terms of like, you know, you were saying Will's a massive influence growing up. What was it like to go around on his UK tour to then support him? Because Will Smith, I've got Millennium literally sat right there. But to be supporting someone who is basically a hero to you at that point, what was it like? And what's Will like as well?
Well, we've been lucky enough to meet Will maybe like a few times over the years, because obviously he's that guy. He was probably the biggest, you know, Hollywood actor in the world for a good number of years, and you know, would come to the UK and do his press runs, and he was known for giving everybody way more than what they needed every single time, always over delivering.
Right.
So we got to meet him 3, 4, 5 times, I'd say. Got to meet him I think I got to meet him on the red carpet for I Am Legend. I interviewed him for Hancock. We interviewed him for, was it £7, the film that he did?
Yeah.
I think it was called £7. We interviewed him for that. He brought Jaden over when Jaden was still quite young. And we did a random thing where Will Smith, whenever he comes to the UK, he always used to say, create something, like his people, create something where I'm just around a lot of school kids and I can kind of like do a talk or do a performance for them or do some kind of thing where I'm giving back to the community.
Yeah.
And he did something at City Hall with Boris Johnson. Boris Johnson was I think he must have been the mayor at the time.
Right, okay, yeah.
And so he was doing some talk with Boris Johnson, and myself and Melvin were the hosts of this talk.
Right.
And we ended up with Boris Johnson on the stage with Will Smith and Jaden Smith, and we were all singing the theme tune to The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. And there's a photo of all of us on stage. And anytime I post it, people are like, what the hell is that? Boris Johnson's like got his hands in the air like that. And like, it's the weirdest ensemble ever.
It's like when you have work drinks and you just get the accountant come in the corner. Like.
It's exactly like that. Exactly like that. So yeah, when we got to have the opportunity to actually go on tour with him, it was a no-brainer. It was one of those things where we were like, you just can't turn it down. Yeah. Like, you know, it's just one of those things. It's one of those moments that you're going to take with you forever.
Yeah. Do you know, I was gutted. One of my friends had tickets and he said, do you want to come? And I had a previous engagement already. And I was like,
bro, his performance was so incredible because he had this amazing kind of like visual show going on in the background as well, that showed like clips of all of his like viral moments, clips from The Fresh Prince, clips from his movies. It was incredible.
Yeah,
like, really good.
And I can imagine the buzz was huge as well, because I think one of the ones that I saw, he did Sunderland Stadium, was it? Or somewhere up there. Scarborough.
Yeah. So that was the first one, and that was like in like this massive amphitheater. So I remember going Scarborough, like Will Smith's going to Scarborough, but because he's so popular and so mainstream, he can go anywhere and be the biggest pool ever.
Yeah.
So yeah, went to Scarborough, amazing. The crowd were amazing. The venue was incredible, and yeah, he shut it down.
Right, Ricks, we are almost at the end, but I want to go with a little rapid fire round for you. Just random things that I could think of, right?
All right, cool.
So, rapid fire.
Yeah.
Tea or coffee?
Neither.
Neither?
No, I don't drink hot drinks. If I have to, hot chocolate. If I have to.
Interesting.
My dad was a tea man, like tea every single morning before he went out to work, and yeah, he just couldn't get his head around it. It's like, how can you not drink tea, especially in the winter? I'm a cold drinks person.
Interesting. All right, live show or pre-recorded?
Oh, do you know what? Live show, but I do like a pre-record, only because when you do a pre-record, you can just sit back and relax. Like,
yeah, literally, it's just like it's done now at that point.
You've done all the hard work, so I do enjoy that, but no, live show all the way.
Cats or dogs?
See, I grew up more around cats. My family had cats. Both, I'm going to say.
Okay, fair. Hosting solo or with a co-presenter?
With the co-presenter.
Comedy or true crime?
Comedy.
Radio or TV?
Radio.
Presenting an early morning or late night show?
Woo! Early morning, because once you've done it, you've got the whole day ahead of you.
Fair. Festivals or small gigs?
Oh, that's tough. That's really tough. Festival.
Okay. And then the last one, Melvin or Charlie?
Impossible. Impossible. No, both of them. They're family. That's like my family.
Yeah, 100%. Now, Ricks, the podcast is called Wrapping My Head Around It.
Yeah, love it.
So I ask every guest, what's one thing that you've never wrapped your head around, or something that you've wrapped your head around recently?
Do you know what? This is going to sound quite random. I love like astrophysics. Like I love like, you know, everything cosmos. but it doesn't matter how much I look into it. I can never get my head around the phases of the moon.
Right.
So obviously the moon is sometimes visible to us when there's a full moon, then it kind of like phases and it goes through its phases and whatnot, and then it disappears. But it just blows my mind. Like the phases of the moon blow my mind.
What, in terms of like how it goes around the planet?
Yeah. Just everything about it just blows my mind. Like, I get it, but I don't get it at the same time. It's bizarre.
You're saying about the moon, right? And I listened to your show the other day.
Yeah.
And you had Jeremiah on, and you asked him what was wider, the moon or Australia.
Yes.
And just remind me, the other question was that Charlie was asking if it was bears that were falling out of the tree.
Yeah.
And Jerry thought that they were like big grizzly bears.
The mind of Jeremiah Asiyama is a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
So the way that he just thinks about stuff is just so unique and so funny. But yeah, he chose the bears dropping first and was like, no, tell a lie. He chose my statement first.
Yeah. And then he switched.
And then he switched at the last moment, so he got it wrong ultimately.
Yeah.
So yeah. I think we kind of like we tricked him into going
little mind games.
Going for the right.
Jerry's
one.
such a lovely guy as well. I've met him a few times when I've been walking around Radio 1. He's a lovely guy.
He was after that. He was like, "Do you need a lift home, Ricks?" I'm like, I was like, "Where do you live?" He's like, "Greenwich." And I'm like, I live in
sort of opposite, but
yeah. But he's like, "You sure? I'll drop you." I was like, "No."
He's a good egg.
Lovely guy.
Rickie, I'm going to ask you to finish off. What is it that you've got coming up in 2026? Because you told me about a little project that you're doing. And hence why we were talking a lot about Soccer Aid earlier, because you are a huge sports fan.
Yes.
So tell me what you're up to.
I'm a massive sports fan, and I used to do a podcast with a couple of footballers a couple of years ago, who I'm still in contact with now, but we don't do the podcast anymore. But there's talks of like bringing something similar back.
Okay.
I grew up watching athletics, and that was massive in our house. Football was big. I just love sport. So I want to do some more stuff, I want to take my broadcasting kind of ability and move it into sport as well, if I can, on a more permanent basis as well. A bit like Mark Chapman. Mark Chapman used to be on Radio 1.
Yeah.
I'd love to do what Mark Chapman's done over the years. He's another hero of mine. So I've started up a YouTube page.
Sick.
It's called Rickie Speaks Sport. My agent was just like, just start it and just see where it takes you. And, we can use it as a reference point when we're trying to get you work and stuff like that. But at the moment, it literally is just me. My setup is nowhere near as amazing as this, Dan. You're putting me to shame right now. But I've got a little setup like in my house. I've just got like a plant, and I've got like a screen and stuff. And it's just me talking about sport. And it's just me just chatting and just getting the stuff that I chat about in the group chat with my friends and just putting it up on TV, and just seeing where it goes, basically. Just like a bit of an outlet to just kind of like get my sporting itch out there.
Sick. And is there a kind of date that you're looking at releasing potentially, or are you just working?
It's already up.
It's up already?
It's already up and running. It's very, very, very early stages. So as you know, with YouTube, you don't start off with like many views, but I'm not looking at the views. I'm just looking at the process. It's teaching me how to edit my stuff and just put stuff together and lighting and like sound and all of that sort of thing. So I'm enjoying the process. I'm learning new stuff as I go along, and that's what I'm kind of hoping to kind of like get out of it the most, is just the process.
Yeah. Mate, genuinely, I am so excited for that, because I am also a big sports fan and I need to watch that. Rickie, thank you so much for coming on, man. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Absolutely love being here, man. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Oh, how cool.